Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of CLX Foundry Live. It is the beginning of our final month of the show. I'm your host, DJ Blue PD. Well, for this year. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, and joining me live from our studios is our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and today's master builder, Hayden Hutchinson. Now, we've got an incredible thing to do today. We've got a great machine to build with some really cool components. We've talked a lot in the past, Paul, about different ways to mount graphics cards. Today, I think we're going to be able to do something pretty darn unique. So, and then of course at the end of the show we've got something amazing we're going to be announcing. But for right now, let's just jump into right up front what we're going to be putting in this cool box.
Yeah, so starting out, we've got our Intel Core i9-14900KF. To cool that, we've got a Fantex Glacier One 360 D30. This is the new Glacier One that comes with the D30 fans, updated pump, a lot of good stuff on this cooler. For our memory, we've got 2 sticks of 16 gigabyte XPG 6000 DDR5 Lancer Blade RGB in black. And then for our storage options, we've got the 1 terabyte ADATA 700 Gold NVMe M.2 drive, and as secondary storage, we've got a 4 terabyte Seagate hard disk drive. For our video card, we've got the ROG Strix RTX 4080. Really good looking card here. This is, I think, the highest end 4080 that exists. Love the way this thing looks.
Yeah.
We're going to be building this in an NV5. And then for our power supply, we've got the Fantex Revolt 1000 watt. We used these once on the show before, I believe.
They're still pretty new.
Yep, excited to, pretty new, excited to use it again. We've also got a cable kit from Fantex and 8 Fantex D30 fans
Like
to cool the whole system.
Out build.
Yeah,
Super
all
sick.
black with a really good looking RGB. So I think we'll go ahead and get started.
Awesome. By the way, we're at level 62% hype train, but it's level 1 at 62%. But we've got a lot of fun. One of the things I'm excited to point out about is the D30s. The D30s are such an amazing fan series. They're such an amazing fan series. But first up, let's talk about this motherboard we're popping out of here. This, of course, is an Asus ROG Strix Z690F gaming Wi-Fi motherboard. Now, this has some pretty amazing connectivity elements to it that I definitely want to point out on that I/O shield when you get a chance.
Yeah, let's show the I/O shield real quick.
Okay, so at the very top, you've got your HDMI and, of course, your display port. Then down below there, you've got 2 USB 2.0s. One's obviously your BIOS. The other is a base USB. You've got your buttons there for your clear CMOS. Down below, we've got 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports. And then down below that, we've got 1 USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2 port. That's 20 gigs via USB-C up and down. And then you've got your standard 10s via the 2 other USB Type A's and the other USB Type C, a 2.5 gig LAN port, Wi-Fi 6E, and of course the amazing Bluetooth 5.3 along with your surround sound and your opticals. It's a gorgeous board. You know me, I have a ROG Strix in my machine. I absolutely love it. And of course, this board has one other really cool feature. And I know it's a feature that you guys absolutely adore, and it's called the button. What does the button do?
So this button right here, you saw Hayden mashing there. This releases this PCIe clip, which holds your top card in slot. Why this is really nice, this is obviously a high-end board, so it's safe to assume you're going to put a high-end video card, which, like the one we have today, is huge. So it's hard to get this clip down if you ever have to take it out. So that's what that button does. It's a really nice feature to have.
All boards
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Now, as we're breaking into all things that are cooling mechanisms, let's talk a little about the processor we've got in there. Now, this, of course, is an Intel Core i9-14900KF. Now, I have the 13900KF, but the 1400 series are just they're breaking records, and it's amazing to see how it is. Paul, what can you tell me about this processor?
Yeah, so top of the line Intel right here. This is the latest and greatest in processing right now. It's a 24 core, 32 thread processor. So it's broken down into 8 performance cores that have hyper-threading, so you get 16 threads on that, with 16 E cores, also known as efficiency cores. It's got a base speed of 3.2, and it'll boost up to 6.0.
Nice. I do want to shout out and say thank you to everybody who's watching across all the different platforms. We've got a bunch of familiar faces and some new people. Zelmo V, welcome to the show. I see Eric Troll King came in with that tier 1 sub. We've got Honey Badger and Lardarian along with Black Dino over on the green side, which is great. Nissing's here. Plus, we've got our red team as well. Momo Mobobo. Welcome in. Good to see you. Now, for those of you, I know we've got some new viewers here today, so I just want to make sure you understand. If you hear something that doesn't quite make sense, or you hear something that you have a question about, or if you even just have a question about your own rigs and things that you've been running into, please feel free to ask. These guys are experts. I'm only know stuff about streaming things. So there we go. But yeah. So with that being said, obviously you can see Hayden is getting ready for the AIO. Now, our AIO is our cooling solution. It is a Fantex Glacier 1 360 RGB. I have the white version of it. Paul, what can you tell us about this, and how does this differ from other cooling opportunities or cooling methods?
Yeah, so typically with cooling, you've got air cooling or liquid cooling. Air cooling is done with usually a block of metal and a fan. Actually, can you grab that for me, Hayden? We don't usually have one of these up here when we talk about this, but I've got a good example here. So we'll go to our overhead. This is what an air cooler is. So your processor, obviously where this thermal paste is for whatever this was on, sits on here. Fan gets plugged in, and that's what cools it with air.
I guess that's one of the basic ones. They have some pretty cool
this
ones
is
now.
Yeah, that's like the base level one. But what we're doing is liquid cooling here. So we've got an AIO, which stands for all-in-one. So all the liquid is contained in this unit here. It's a 360, which refers to the radiator size. So we can fit 3 120 millimeter fans on this. And this AIO specifically has a brand new updated pump and is just performing really great in all of our tests.
Yeah. It keeps, I'll be honest, it keeps mine exceedingly cool. I don't think I've ever gotten above, I think the highest temperature I've ever seen on mine is 70 degrees, maybe. I think that was during Rainbow Six Siege, because it's on Ultra, and it was really pumping, but I don't think it even, I'm hard pressed to say it even got up there. But yeah, Pebbles, welcome in. Welcome. We got Chili Sam coming in on all sides.
What's up, Chili? Welcome
He's in the house. Omek. Lots of familiar faces. I'm digging this. I like it. All right, so now we're gonna get that on there. Now, what are some good tips about the applying the thermal paste, and more importantly, taking the thermal paste off?
Well, I didn't realize that it came with paste on it. I forgot that it
Hayden,
comes with a
zoom
really nice sheet of paste that's pre-applied.
There you go.
So
Oh, nice.
they have a really nice.
Gotta hand it to
Fantex.
Gotta hand it to Fantex, man. Their Glacier ones are just rock solid. So rock solid.
Yeah, most AIOs when you get them. Oh, sorry, DJ. Go ahead.
Oh, are you good? I was Elric Control the King asked what processor you're putting it in it. This is a Intel Core i9 14900 KF. Fruits Tavern, welcome back. So honestly, every time I see like a Fruits Tavern or a Fruits anything, all I can think of is well, the show is called Schitt's Creek. It's on Hulu. It's great, but there was a whole situation where one of the lead characters does a commercial for fruit wines, and it's Herb Erblinger. I don't know. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Absolutely amazing. All right, is there such a thing as too much thermal paste? Good question, Chili, and I feel like the boys have an answer.
Oh yeah, there is definitely too much.
You can definitely apply.
You can overkill it. And really, if you put a little bit too much on there, it's usually not a big deal. A lot of times it creates, it can create a mess around your processor socket. But if you put a crazy amount on there, it can actually, the thickness of that paste can actually cause some thermal issues. So just don't go crazy.
Yes. Chili Sam asked, DG, did you get the candy from that van you posted about on Twitter? So as my housemate and I were leaving for one of my birthday dinners last night, because I do birthdays for my birthday dinner events run like 5 days from up around my birthday. That's on Saturday, by the way. But no, so there's this white paneled van parked just opposite of us where we parked the car. So I took a picture and said, even after Halloween, I still know where to get the good candy. Speaking of candy and all things that are sweet, let's talk about this sweet, sweet RAM that we've got going in here. This is two 16 gig sticks of ADATA DDR5 6000. That's only a 32 gigs of RAM at 6,000. That's an amazing speed. How does that pair up to where the industry standard is right now?
Yeah, so this is right at the leading edge here. DDR5 is still, a new thing going on, and even at that 6,000 speed, that's on the top end for DDR5 right now. We'll probably see some higher speeds, in the next year and all that, but right now this is right at the front. Yeah, right. I hope not. There will be. It's gonna be 8,000.
Hello, Beth.
Gonna be crazy.
We got a whole bath over on the Reds. Nice. So, and there's a difference between stock versus overclocking. So, if you've got a stock that goes to, like, say 6,000, but you can overclock it to 7,200, the board's specific, like, what we're talking about on that board element, by the way, we'll talk about what he just installed there in a second. When it's the OC versus the standard, which numbers are you needing to look at to determine what's the highest core level of RAM you can get or put in there versus what it can overclock to?
Are you talking about numbers on your RAM?
Yeah,
Your RAM speed?
Yeah, I'm just a little confused about that.
So this is 6,000 speed memory. So out of the box, it should be at 6,000. Now, depending on what motherboard you have, it might start out at the base. What is DDR5? 4800, I think. So it might go down there. You usually need to turn on XMP in your BIOS, something like that.
Yeah, it's just gonna make you get to that 6,000 speed or whatever.
Yep.
Okay. I've just always wondered, like, whether it's the core numbers, the others, and how that all works out. Now, the one thing I did mention that I want to go back to that Hayden plugged in underneath that cute little panel right there that you saw. Now, that is a heatsink for the primary operating system drive, and that is a 2 terabyte ADATA Legend 700 Gold M.2. We've seen a lot of these be chosen lately. They've got a really great reputation, and they've really got a great performance rating. So, shout out to ADATA for that one. Appreciate it greatly.
Okay.
64 gigs for DDR4. And
reverse?
while they're getting that put in there, yes, 6,000 is super quick. I have 64 gigs of it in my rig. It's wild. But I did discover, Paul, by the way, I have a question. What is 1,800 RAM? Is that 3 or 4?
1,800 RAM? That's DDR3. Use 1866 was that speed.
So
Yeah. DDR3 started out at 1333.
Is DDR3.
Yeah. DDR3
streaming
started
rig
out
is
at 1333, then 1600, 1866. And there might have been one higher, but I don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah, that
Missing, I
is.
agree. CLX forever. Forever. Okay. Now, here's a fun little box of toys that we've fallen just completely in love with, and these are the fans. Now, because this is one of those amazing NV5s, we've got a different number of fans that we like to do with this. These are going to be 8 D30 fans. These are Fantex fans. Fantex D30s. Paul, what makes these fans stand out from others?
On top of them just performing great, you can see, actually, Hayden, if you want to show it a little bit up here. Keep doing what you're doing, just on the camera. So the way these connect is really great. So Hayden's connecting his 3 fans right now for this AIO. You can see there's not really any cables right now.
See the gold pins right there. And then you want to grab your connector, and it has these gold little pins that you can push down. As long as these are lined up.
That seems so much easier than independently cabling everything.
Yep, it's so much easier.
Makes our life
There'll
easier.
be a clip on this side that's going to have the cable out. But the other thing that's really cool about these is that you can get them in a reversed method or the regular method. That way you never have to see the fan grill, even if they're exhausting. So,
yeah. Oh yeah. And you want those bad? Yeah, Nissing mentions that they want them super bad because they got the Game DS. Now, I'll be honest, I love my Game DS. Those things are rock stars. But I love these. Like, these Fantex fans are just brilliant. They look amazing. And the things that the color schemes can do is just, well, I'm going to say it's extra special, which is so uninspiring. But yes. All right, now we've got those 3 fans in. We've got a couple different ways to configure these fans. So when you're wanting to connect these to a motherboard, what's the process, or do you need to use a controller?
So yeah, what Paul has in his hand is the cable. You just want to make sure you plug that into one of your corners, and then you will plug in your cable that controls the actual fan's power, and then there's one for the RGB. So you only got 2 cables to worry about mainly. It's great.
Well, I do have a couple questions real quick coming in from the chat. We've got Pebbles441 asks, what's the difference between DDR3 and DDR4?
So that's going to be the generation of memory, essentially. So DDR4 is what's common right now, and really what that refers to is the speed of your memory. But something to note, if you're configuring a PC on your own, your motherboard is going to have, on its RAM slots, they're going to be either DDR4 or DDR5 right now. And DDR5, it will not work with DDR4, and same for vice versa. The actual slot for the memory has a different pin and a different notch, so that you can't put in DDR4 board into a DDR5 motherboard. But really, the difference is just the newer generations are faster speed memory.
Now, NM Parsons brings up a good question. Says I have 2 sticks in my system for 32 gigs of RAM. Can I add 2 more sticks for 64?
Yeah, if you've got if you've got slots open, you definitely can. Or if you wanted, or if you didn't have any slots open, you could remove those and just buy bigger capacity slots. You want to, if you're going to be upgrading your system and buying more RAM, you want to keep it as the same model as the RAM that you currently have. It will work if you've got 2 different models, but it can cause issues. So we definitely don't recommend doing that.
And Bittersweet does bring up a good point. Like, make sure you don't mix manufacturers or speeds. That is a wise idea. Temperance says, Paul, you can't buy new slots unless you get a new MOBO. I think you meant sticks.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, correct. Yep. Yeah,
you
the
can,
slots
you can
on your
download
motherboard
new
are
slots.
specific. Yeah, you can download more RAM. Why pay for it? Yeah.
Let's see here. All right, now obviously we're putting these together to get them onto our radiator. So, Paul, let's talk about this because these fans come in forward and reverse. Which way do we want to be pushing the air out of this?
So we're going to be bringing air in through the side right here, exhausting out the top, and we'll have some intake on the bottom and exhaust on the rear right here as well.
Nice. I will say I absolutely love the intake of the fans that I've got, and the D30s obviously. Is there a way to test and verify or validate how much air is pushed through a fan? Are they rated specifically based on blade configuration or angle?
It's typically an RPM that comes with the rating, so how fast the fan is spinning. Yep.
Gotcha. Well, I do love this, and I feel like this does make it easier for the builders because they're not really having to route, a total of 8 different cables. It's just 2 per group. You got 1 for the color, 1 for the fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just the removing of cables on every single fan is such a big help.
It's great.
It's kind of like playing Legos. This is hilarious.
Legos with no manual.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And one of the things I think from an aesthetic standpoint, I love the fact that it's so solid in the framing, like that it just creates a full block.
Yeah, it is nice.
Is there any other way to play Lego? I mean, let's be fair. Computer Legos are fun, but easy to screw up.
My favorite part is when you shock your parts.
Yep. There we go.
They start catching on fire.
Yeah.
You don't know why it's smoking.
While it's smoking. What could be some reasons why your system might be smoking? What could you have forgotten to have taken off during your installation?
Plastic. If you have a modular power supply, make sure you're using the right cables. You have
Yeah, the
Yes.
biggest reason
Right, a
for your
lot of
system to catch
plastic.
fire is wrong cables plugged into each other.
Yeah. You have your CPU plugged into your GPU.
Yeah, something like that.
Nissen asks, EK AIO versus Corsair AIO. What are your thoughts?
What was the first one? EK?
EK.
Yeah, I mean those are
EK,
both
yeah.
those are both probably coming from Acetec, but I prefer the EK. Both are good though.
EK is what we use for our open loop stuff. They're great.
Oh, that's right. Nice.
You want to use these on the radiator or no? I know you got those ones on there. Okay.
Those ones, I mean, they're not on yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need one for the bottom. Got one for the back.
I think this will be the one we use on the bottom.
Yep.
We have to use our brains
thing I
here
would-
on these fans because of the there's actual orientation of fans. It's not blatantly obvious.
T-Hogs asks a really smart question.
It's
What can I do when my CPU is
I have-
bottlenecking my GPU?
What do you do if your CPU is bottlenecking your GPU? Buy a
Yeah.
new CPU or overclock it. There you go. Download more RAM. So
Download
Okay, so that
that
comes into the
RAM.
next question. Is Noel Clever said overclock or buy a new CPU, and what's Stever sees says upgrade. So what do you think is the better option of the two, to upgrade or to overclock?
So if you're completely done with that CPU and you're not going to use it for anything else, I would overclock it. Overclock the hell out of it until it fails. Save you some money, and then you buy a new CPU. But if you're just trying to game and you're limited, you can just get a new CPU and then use that current CPU in a different build if you want to do that.
Oh my God, it's no leaf clover. Got it? I have been absolutely destroying your name for so long. Welcome, people. I promise I can read. Yeah, absolutely.
This will be here. Yeah, these bottom and back. But aren't these bringing air in that way?
Yeah.
So here's what they're talking about is the fact that sometimes the forward fans
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
go one direction, the backwards fans go the other.
Yeah, you got to think every time you use them. It's really...
Can't just use the typical method.
So how do you determine which one is which?
So the way that we're looking at it, we'll just use these two as an example.
looking
If
at
we can go to our
blades.
overhead. So typically we use the fan grill to tell, which way is exhausting. But on these, you can buy them in a reverse flow so that, you always get the pretty side. But the difference you can see here, if you look at the top and this one right here, the fan blades are pitched differently. So the way this is pitched, the air is going to be going into this and out the back and opposite on this. So that's what me and Hayden are looking at to determine which way the air is going to go.
Smart. Super smart thinking. I dig it. Honestly, with those things lined up like that, it reminds me of one of the, it was like a cargo hauler that in Star Citizen. I don't know if you guys played it? I play it. I'm going to play it today on stream. It's going to be, I miss flying my Constellation class. I love it.
I have not joined the
haven't
cult
tried it
yet, but
I want sticks.
it's looking pretty cool. Yeah. When we were doing the build, whenever that was, it feels like it wasn't that long ago,
Forever
but it
ago.
probably was. I was watching people stream it and like using the HOTAS sticks, I think is what it was.
That's what it was,
And,
yeah.
like people even have like rudder pedals and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that looks pretty awesome.
This is for our side panel?
This
Yeah.
is for the side panel.
Well, and
I didn't want to
I
break
will
them.
say, like, I know on my system, it runs beautifully well. Beautifully well. I've only had it turn down a couple different things, I think like volumetric lighting, but that was about planetary volumetric lighting. But when you get in that game, you look at that stuff, it is gorgeous. And I mean, I'm running a pretty robust system, to be fair. But yeah, no, the thought of how it would have run on my old gaming PC is just terrifying because that thing would have probably caught on fire and just quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say that 13900 is pretty beefy. And this one's got a 14900 in it. It's going to be wild. Huge difference. Let's see here. Nissing asks, how do you guys like the NV7 case? Is it one of your guys' favorites?
Yeah, it's a great case. We had a lot of fun building in it. I think
personally, I like NV5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the NV5 better just because it's more manageable. But if you're looking for just that full tower, a case that has everything you want, it is the NV7 for sure. It's very big.
This fan that just took
TLC,
Over there.
TLC asks an interesting question. What should I do if my GPU is 74% temp on 1440p?
Like playing the game?
74%.
Like 74 degrees?
temp.
Or
That sounds-
yeah, I'm confused
Yeah,
by.
if you're 74C, that's a decent temp when you're
good.
gaming. If you're looking at a percentage,
on a
that's
game.
usually
Okay.
the power for it. But temp is obviously, usually referred to in Celsius. But got everything you need off these?
Yes.
I'm gonna go put these in my build now.
Okay. Alright.
I did make a setting, by the way, or change the setting on my graphics card, and I should probably and I wanted to ask you, Paul. So in the profile for obviously the NVIDIA graphics card, there is a power setting. You can do automatic, recommended, but there's the other one is max performance
Okay.
or max
yeah.
power.
Yeah.
And so I flipped it on a max power. Is that going to be a problem? Because I did notice an increase in performance, which I was very impressed with. But I want to make sure I'm not causing any damage or harm to the card.
That's a good question. So yeah, I would, if it was me, I would put it on max power.
I personally have mine on max power. So.
Yeah, and what that does is it makes
Okay.
sure that it's getting as much power as possible, and it's going to ignore things like it worrying about how loud the fans are spinning. So that's what if you don't care about how loud your
God,
GPU is, which I mean, GPUs are already quiet enough now, that's what that is. So
You're going to get your most frames out of that.
yeah,
build.
if it gets to a dangerous temp or anything, it's gonna downclock itself. It's got software in there that it will protect itself. So
Shout out to Speedy Snipe who popped in. Glad to have you here, dude. We've also got this is another good question. TLC says, when should we worry about the GPU temperature being too high, and when should I worry and need to sort it out?
I would say when you start getting in the 90s, is that what you would say, Hayden? That feels, I know that sounds crazy high, but that's just kind of how things are nowadays. I mean, mid 80s, upper 80s is probably okay if you're in like a AAA title.
I've
you know
hit
what I mean?
85, and
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it. If it goes over 90, though, that's when
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, what's going on?
If you're like playing Minesweeper or whatever and it's at 90, there's probably an issue.
Yeah, an issue,
But
yeah.
if you're playing, Cyberpunk or something like that, it's
Minesweeper.
going to be there.
So I was playing Tetris, and my CPU exploded.
Yeah. I need a new CPU.
Here we go. All right, getting that
I think
GPU all
that's
set
as
up
much
there.
thinking as we have ever
Look at
done
that.
on the
Sorry,
show
the
right
AIO.
there.
Yeah.
Look at all these
Yep.
extra pieces.
Actually, they go to this.
Yeah, we can
Oh,
cover up.
shit.
So another thing these fans have, they have these little plastic clips that Hayden's going to be putting on right now. And this is just an aesthetic thing. They cover up the screws, so it's kind of cool. Go ahead.
Overhead shot.
This is a step that if this was my PC, I'd probably just let it go. But the
Yeah.
finished look is really nice.
Especially for like the radiator, you're not gonna really see it unless you're like looking underneath it.
Right, yeah.
Nice.
Now this is the Lego
Which,
spot.
Yeah,
but it's a super clean look. Look at that. Look, there's like, yeah, it's definitely like Legos. It's resembling Legos a lot more right now. Smoke is just the PC magic escaping back into nature.
True.
Yeah, and how many pieces are you guys building today? Yes, just the one. We do need to prep for. What we need to prep for some other events that are coming up. Of course, we've got DreamHack Atlanta coming up on the 15th, which is going to be next weekend after this. So there will be no after show today, but you guys are going to come over and hang out. We're going to play some Star Citizen.
Like a little rake.
So definitely
Need
gonna
a desk rake.
I'm
have
gonna
some
need it
fun.
eventually.
Yeah.
So. All right.
What
I
do
would
they call
love
it
to
in
see
cooking?
the
Miso
extras
sauce?
pile.
Yeah.
I would love to see the extras pile that you guys have. You guys, I'm sure that there's a giant box of like, well, there's spare parts that we just can dig through if we need extras.
So that is actually a really big challenge in the, building PC industry. Is like you have all these cases and you got spare parts for them because you want to have spare parts in case, a side panel shatters or something like that. But once you have so many cases, you end up with 10 different spare parts for each case. It ends
And then
up
you
to
start
being
hoarding.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I needed that one clip one time last year, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold
2
on to
years
every
ago-
single one
yeah.
of them.
2 years ago, I needed that bracket. Well, now it's gone.
SATA cables. Oh my goodness. We had so many SATA cables.
We had
Yeah.
we had
Oh,
boxes.
so many
and
SATA
boxes.
cables?
so many SATA cables.
We had so many that we had like the red ones and the old ones
Yeah,
too.
we had all sorts of them.
I would save them
Ooh.
for like special.
We could have wrapped
times.
the entire warehouse if we could. If there was a way to plug them into each other, we
Yeah.
could have like wrapped around the warehouse in them. Because once everything started switching to NVMe M.2s, you don't need a SATA cable for it. It's just
Don't
right
need 'em.
there.
They're
But the
unheard
board
of.
still comes with 2 SATA cables.
Especially like ROG boards. They come with like the really nice braided
Yeah, yeah.
cables. Those are that's something to save.
And obviously, we'll include extra cables like that in the accessories box, but there's just no way to not end up with extras.
Yeah. Totally get you. Like I
So if
I
y'all
always
need
see
a
all
SATA
these extra
cable, hit
pieces.
us
I'm
up.
just like, well. There we go.
You thinking do all the fans first, and then we'll get into the other fun stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
fans are gonna be a little
That sounds good to me.
little bit.
I'm gonna put this over here.
I will say, let's get the CPU plugged in first. Like the cables.
Okay, start
And
getting
then
the
I'll do the
cables
rest of
out.
the fans.
Yeah, that sounds good.
One thing I want to point out that I love about this case, and it's unlike like the O11s, this is it's sort of a 1/4 frame. It doesn't really
Yeah.
have as much room in the back, but it still has that lifted area for airflow. And which means the motherboard doesn't sit completely against the rear of the system. How is that helpful, and what kind of opportunities does that give you when it comes to just having a system that looks so clean?
Yeah, so it just allows for really good cable management. As you can see, the back is designed kind of like the NV7. Obviously, this is a little bit smaller, but we've got our swinging door here that allows us to hide cables and everything under there. There's good spots for hard drive trays. So, but this middle channel, it's pretty deep in there, so it gives you a lot of room to run your cables and bundle them up nicely. So, really like that.
These cables are really
Easy
nice.
Tunes coming in with Easy Tune V coming in with 13 months, 14 months in a row
How has it been
on
that
that
long?
sub. Thank you much. I know, right? It's weird to think we've been doing this for that long.
We're not new at it anymore. It's crazy. It still
No,
feels like a
no,
new
no,
thing to me.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
it's all
like
not
we've been doing
new?
this for almost a year. What is it, a year and a half? I think. Yo,
Wild.
that case is Très Magnifique. Yes, this is a Fantex
Wow.
NV5. This is the little brother or little sibling to the NV7s, which you saw us do a lot of. And of course, that premiered back at PAX
Oh, I like
East
that.
of
Metal?
of this year, actually. We got to see that
Ooh.
big baby, that big beast.
Fantex pulling out all the
Yep,
stops
year
here.
and a half.
So we're looking at these Fantex
Yeah.
cables. We have a cable kit from Fantex to use with their power supply. Now, pretty standard sleeved cable right here. It looks like a good cable. They
Feels a
feel
little
good to
different.
me. But some cable kits now are coming with the cable combs pre-installed, which is what we have right here. However,
Love that.
Fantex has made these metal,
They are metal.
which is the first time I've seen
Yeah,
that. So
no.
that feels really
You
good.
should see the power supply. which
Yeah.
we've seen before, right?
Yeah, we've done it once, or I've done one.
Yeah,
You've
it
probably
has-
done a couple more builds than I
It's
have
got
with
the
them.
holes in it. It looks great.
All right, so I'll get the rest of our cables ready while we're doing this, and then we'll get the power supply and video card out after that.
By the way, we've got,
these feel good.
I finally gave in is in the house. Welcome. Human proxy. Hello. Welcome.
Oh, these
Got
cables
a lot
feel
of
great.
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
today.
have
They
like a
feel
good-
like a weighted blanket.
They do.
Yeah.
That is weird. I'm
They're-
not
they're, like,
kidding.
soft.
Yeah, it is. This
like,
is
soft.
strange. This is making me feel a certain way. I feel the anxiety leaving my body.
I'm telling you, I'm not
Well, that's a
crazy.
good thing.
Yeah, you could make a blanket out of this.
Yeah. They're
Seriously.
Like soft.
You could weave together a bunch of 24-pin connections. Make
That's
a
what we'll
blanket
do with
out
our
of this.
extras. We'll make blankets.
Seriously, guys, this is the softest cable I've ever felt. And I've
Their
felt a
website
lot
just
of cables.
flooded with people buying their cables now.
Yeah. Yeah, use code.
Use code soft
Yeah.
blanket.
That's funny.
Well, the 24-pin even has the cable combs on them as well, which is really nice. I love that these cable combs come pre-installed, and you can slide them around however you need when you get these. I've seen people at events and stuff that just, I think they don't realize their cables even have them, because a lot of times they will all three be kind of up like that, and it just looks like part of the connector there, but you can actually move these around and get them so everything looks nice and neat. All right.
Which is awesome. So I finally gave in, has a great question here, so I want to make sure we get to this. Does anyone make a mounting bracket to mount multiple fans to make installation into the case easier? I know some cases come with them, but can you get them separately?
So yeah, that's a good question. So the short answer is no. And the reason is every case is obviously different. So your case may come with brackets, like the 011 does that we've used before, where you see us pull the actual tray out and mount our fans to it. But typically you're not able to just buy like a universal 3-fan mount and then put it in your system.
Yeah, back when I had like an NTXT case, I ended up like losing one of the rad brackets.
It had brackets for the rad.
You cannot go to the website and order one. You have to like order a brand new case.
Yeah.
Or buy it secondhand. So like, I would just, I don't know. You might be able to find something on like the website of your manufacturer for your case, but like Paul was saying, it's just there's nothing universal.
And these case manufacturers are usually pretty cool with needing spare parts. Like if they got a support line or something, usually you can be like, hey, I lost a bracket for my top fans. Can you just send me one? Usually they'll just send you one and take care of you.
And then we've got Pebbles asked an interesting question. How do you know how many fans to put in? That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. So that's also going to be case specific. Each case is going to have a bunch of different ways for you to store your fans. I'm going to rotate this, Hayden.
You're good.
So for this case, we've obviously got room for 3 fans up top, which you can see we've already got on our radiator up here. Space for a fan in the back, 1 down here in the bottom, and then this section right here is 3. So in total, this case can fit 8 fans, or sorry, 8 fans. But if you don't want to buy 8 fans because some fans are expensive, you can put them in any configuration that you want. So typically, like if I wanted to make this build a little bit cheaper, shave 3 fans off the build, I would take off these 3 back fans, and that way you just have 5, 3 on the top, 1 here and 1 there. So really you're looking for these slots that usually you can see the screw holes to mount the fan. That's what you're looking for, but your case is going to determine how many can fit in there.
Yeah.
And you don't always have to fill every section up.
Now, one thing that's interesting, and I want to talk about this because it's a good angle to see this, is the shroud. Obviously, that is your PSU or your power supply unit shroud that sits there. First of all, it's got this great LED strip on it. Looks fantastic. But the shroud does something else, and it assists with helping the temperature inside the unit. How does that work?
Yeah, so our power supply is going to sit under there, and actually I'm going to get that out right now so I can have a little bit of a visual aid. But I'm sure you guys watching the show, know what a power supply looks like. It's usually got a 120 or some, size fan on it. So how this is going to work is our power supply is going to bring fresh air in up from the bottom and exhaust it out that hole right out there. So none of the heat from the power supply is going to be in the main body of the case. They don't generate a lot of heat, but it is something to note. I think the reason for the power supply shrouds is mainly the overall aesthetic, so you don't see all the cables that are plugged in or anything like that.
Yeah. Now, jumping into our fun little power supply here, we've got a 1,000-watt Fantex amp. It's 80 plus gold, and I believe it's the Revolt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that is correct. 80 plus platinum on this thing.
Platinum.
Oh,
Platinum,
yeah.
Good Lord.
Only the best for Hayden. Look at that. This is real platinum. This power supply is worth $5,000.
That looks so sick.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, no,
now
this is a good looking
here's a big
one.
question. What's the big difference between having an 80 plus or an 80 plus gold versus an 80 plus platinum? And how many different levels are there?
Yeah, that is a good question. So that 80 plus refers to the efficiency rating of the power supply. So we always recommend people, whenever you're building your own PC, just pick one that has 80 plus something. So it starts out as just 80 plus, it's a little white logo, and then it goes to bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and titanium. And in order to get that 80 plus rating, the power supply has to be like 80% efficient at 3 different levels. Typically, I think it's like 10% or 25%, 50%, and 100%. And so what that actually means is how much power is coming out of your wall versus how much you're using. So really, that's why we say just go with 80 plus, anything in that range. If you're doing any like crypto mining and you've got this crazy crypto rig, that's when you see people want to go with like an 80 plus titanium, something with really high efficiency to cut down on their energy bill as much as they can.
Waiting for the ruby sapphire
Nice.
emerald rating.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Sapphire, Emerald, good Lord.
Get a Pokemon one.
Pokemon.
This does look nice.
Nice.
I like
That does
this.
look sick, dude. It looks great.
Yeah, this looks really good.
I'm loving it.
Cutout on it. It's my favorite.
Well, and it's also really nice because it's got its own airflow. It's got its own environment in there to just kind of let that heat push out. So, good question coming in from No Leaf Clover. 1,000 watt, dang. But and then Parsons brings that in question. We'll get to the GPU in a second. It says, would a 1,000 watt PSU be future proof?
I mean, for most gaming applications, yes. Everything is obviously taking more power as time goes on. Everything gets more powerful. But yeah, I have 1,000 watt in my system, and it's the same power supply that I've had for 7 years. Like it's lasted me forever. I've upgraded my system a ton over the time. Never had any issues. So
I have 850 watt.
yeah, you got an 850 watt. Yeah,
But it's been just fine. So.
Yeah, 1,000 watt is still a little bit overkill in my opinion, which isn't a bad thing. Just make sure you'll be able to power whatever you want. All right, so while Hayden's getting this fan screwed in, I'm going to go ahead and get our video card out.
So here we go to answer that question. Let's go for your video card. This, of course, is an Asus ROG Strix GeForce RTX 4080. Now, anybody who knows anything about ROG Strix, even because I have a ROG Strix 3090, and these cards are heavy, these cards are well built, and the best thing is these cards are monsters. Super monster level. Tell us a little bit about this card.
All right, so obviously this is an RTX 4080. It's a 16 gigabyte card, but this is the Asus ROG Strix gaming version. So this is probably the highest end 4080 you can get. This does come in white if you are one of those people that wants a white card. And really, as far as looks go on 4080s, this is the best looking 4080 out there.
For sure.
It's got a nice RGB ring on the side.
I love the way the lights wrap around the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just can't beat it. So we'll get this out here. I'm sure this is going to take our 12 volt
I think MSI
power.
takes second place with their new video
MSI's
cards.
look pretty good. Yep. So let's get this bad boy
Target
out.
about the So Easy Tune, I'm not going to read what he originally wrote. Says, excuse me, I feel targeted about the white bills, Paul.
Yeah,
I miss
the
EVGA.
white bills are sick.
Yeah, I did.
But,
I did
you
mine.
know.
Mine looks legit.
Mine's white and
Yeah,
black,
yeah.
so white's hard to do.
Yeah.
I will say I did put that on my birthday and Christmas list, was the white 4090, but at this point they are so insanely expensive and so unavailable, it's not even funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you get a white card, it
EVGA
comes
was
with a premium.
legit amazing. Yeah.
All right, so
Absolutely.
still got a lot of plastic to peel off this thing, but as y'all can see,
That
we've
looks
got
super heavy.
Yeah, it is. This is a heavy card. We've got two HDMIs and 3 display ports, so that's one more HDMI than we typically see on these cards. So that's nice to have. We've got a good backplate. I'll show you guys this backplate once I get this out. There we go. Just how to get it started. So look at this thing. Look how cool this thing looks.
That is wild. Dude, what a great backplate. They really know how to decorate their cards. They're just, it's always wicked to look at. Let go.
Yeah. And then this is the RGB right here around the ring. That'll show off really well. And then we'll get to our front plastic here.
You wish they made a matrix water version of the ROG 4080.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool.
Now, I'm not familiar with what that is. Is that
I was just assuming it's like with a matrix screen with it all going there. We saw that guy who had, what was it, an 011 at the DreamHack in Dallas?
With their wallpaper engine.
That was sick. He had his whole front panel was a wallpaper engine. That was matrix. That was really cool.
Actually, no, I've just pulled it up. This is holy. What?
Oh, was it a crazy version of the card?
So I just looked it up. So the Matrix version of this is monstrous. This is awesome. So looks like it's got the equivalent of the D30 fans on there, but I'm assuming they're probably going to be ROG's fans. But they are on a radiator, a 360 radiator for a liquid-cooled 4090.
Oh,
What?
got you. Yeah. The AIO video cards. Yeah.
Yeah, Ladarian, I just figured that out.
Spend
Like,
some money.
good grief. What Steve sees says, I've read up a fair bit on water cooling on the 4080 and 4090, and that there is very little benefit. Okay. Still looks cool.
Once you get to that like upper echelon, the gains diminish a little bit, but I mean you're at the top, so just how it is.
Yeah, I think all 4090s right now are up there. Like the ROG Strix White 4090 OC, or just the regular 4090, either are both running $3,300 to $3,500 right now.
And I think Hayden almost got this tie done in the time that it took me to peel the plastic off that video card.
No.
Sit there and goof around with it.
Doing all the heavy lifting over here, Hayden.
So Hayden, here's a question for you. We've obviously the NV5 is very different than the Leon Lees. So what are some good tips or tricks for people who are going to be building in these amazing cases by Fantex in order to really maximize the efficiency of their cable management?
Yeah, so I'll flip this around so you guys can see. NV5, NV7, most of all Fantex cases I've ever worked with have a Velcro rail.
I love the Velcro, dude. I love the Velcro.
You can see that there's a Velcro here, and it goes all the way down. So what I like to do is try to keep all my cables here, because we're gonna have that door right here, so you kind of have to have everything here. And then there is another Velcro rail on the other side, and that's my CPU cables, and then my back fan. Yeah, my back fan running that way as well. So yeah, you just want to try to keep everything in that Velcro, and if you can do that and get your panel to shut, it's pretty easy from there on.
Now, one thing to see it, you can see it a little bit right here from this shot, just to the left-hand side of that front bar brace, is the other way. Is that little bracket right there. So that is an anti-sag bracket, but unlike some of the other builds that we've done, this system actually comes with the anti-sag bracket built into it.
Right, yeah, so this NV5 has a really nice anti-sag bracket that mounts to the frame of the chassis. It's really big, so it can fit any card, but I don't think we're going to be using it on this build, because we're going to do something we have never done before on the show.
Oh my gosh, are we going to get a first Are we gonna mount this thing
To
differently?
the ceiling.
We got this
Yes.
thing right here.
Yo, Star Citizen in the house, looking sharp, folks. Let's go. Welcome
Hello,
in. If you
hello.
haven't followed Star Citizen, please
What is
do.
up?
We'd appreciate it greatly.
Okay, I got all the cables.
All right, so Hayden's managed all the
Welcome in,
fan
Star
cables now. So we
Just need
still
to plug
got
'em in.
case cables that need to go in. We still need to plug in our fan cables, but the start of the tie-up is over. So that is nice from the building aspect.
And just like with Game Deals fans or whatever case I'm working with, I like to do my fan wires first, just so I can make sure everything is good to go.
Super jazzed. Super jazzed.
And what's nice with using these Fantex D30 fans combined with the AIO that's Fantex and the case is everything is going to plug into each other as far as the RGB goes. It's all going to be synced up and it's just going to look really good. We may play around with the RGB. I'm sure we'll play around with the RGB settings, you know, once this thing is fully built and on, but it's just nice that everything can plug into each other. You don't got to worry about trying to get two different brands of RGB to play nicely
It's
together.
really good, yeah. Yeah,
The
makes
Poet
for a
says I'm
really
about to
clean
turn on my
diode.
CLX build for Star Citizen right now. Poets, that's what I'm playing. Is after we get off stream, I'm going to spend the whole afternoon playing Star Citizen. I want to get back in and goof around in my Connie. But I've also got a couple new fighters that I've been kind of jazzed about. But I'm also really bad at dogfighting so far. So I'm going to just kind of focus on doing some shipping missions. You know, doing some raids, things like that.
DJ, you think
Teaming
my
up with,
1080
I believe, Scott Wins. Huh?
You think my 1080 Ti can handle it? Star Citizen?
I mean, how many frames are you looking for it to get?
6.
6.
You can handle this 6. There you go. Yo,
Single
Scott Wins in the
digits.
house. Yeah, Scott and I are going to team up after we're done here for some Star Citizen.
Very
We
nice.
go goof off and get some stuff done, make ourselves some money. Good morrow, whole lot. Pretty new N60 case being built in and mega cable management. It's actually an NZXT. This is a Fantex NV5. Yes. So many. I'm noticing so many different people who I've seen play Star Citizen in here. I dig it. Pebbles. I just saw what you wrote. That is still one of the funniest, and especially, you know, being part of that community, that was still the funniest thing. Yo, he's got the LGBT lights. They're RGB. Get it together. That will never not make me laugh. Jake Acapella, hello. Hello, welcome back. Good to see you, my friend. What's going on? So, Jake, obviously community manager with CIG, and he was here with us, which was super fun. In fact, it was the stream that we did together, Jake, when Jake was on the show, that was where I finally was just like, that's it. And literally, while we're on the show, I bought my package, started downloading the game, and I have never regretted it for a moment since. It's just fun. I'm a little bit better than I was before, but all right. Sorry? Got it. So, yes, Jake, it was really great to have you on here. They were very much instrumental in me starting that game. And, of course, I just started throwing out everywhere. So I went, hey, have you tried this game yet? So I actually just updated mine today. So I'm still loving that bracket on the back. Yeah, that bracket on the or the faceplate on the power supply just looks gnarly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I say that in a good way. You adore this case? Yeah, the NV5s have been really, really fun. When you take a look at how efficient they are. Let's see here. If you say the words Star Citizen on stream, we disappear. Welcome, Galactica. Welcome back. That is awesome. That is awesome. Yes, welcome in, everybody. But now, good question coming in from Honey Badger. Honey Badger says, on average, how many zip ties do you think y'all go through a build?
Probably 10 to 20
Yeah,
in that
build.
range.
A day? Couldn't even tell you.
Hayden uses about 200 in a day.
Easy Tune brings up a very mentioned the first time playing Star Citizen was a great stream. It was full of twists and turns and broken ships. Oh my gosh. Mr. Terrific let me borrow one of his ships and I literally did not slow down. I was trying to land on a moon. Man, I came in hot. Plus gravity, and let me tell you, I destroyed that. What's the big one with it's like a giant wing and it looks like almost like a pelican, but it's oh yeah, was that the one I wrecked? Yeah, the Carrack. The seats. I wrecked several. I've wrecked several ships on accident.
Whoops.
Yeah, I've had to become very careful. That is one thing I'm saving up for. I am saving right now up for I want to get sticks because I know easy. And you know, that's a good question for so many of you since there's so many players out here in the audience. Which, because Easy was very adamant that sticks like HOSAS, the HOSAS, I think is what it's called, because it's hand on stick versus hand on thrust and stick, which I think is, yeah. I want to make sure I've got this right. But in the same stream, you wrecked both. Listen, man, I burned through several $20 million worth of for the ships. Throttle on stick. There we go. So, 2 sticks is the norm these days. So, what do you all use for your sticks? I'm kind of. I would love to hear because Logitech makes HOTAS, but not HOSAS. So I was just thinking maybe you guys could give me a suggestion of what I should get. You said pedals? Pedals. Oh, twist. Like the stick twists. Oh my gosh. So we're talking actual flight mechanics here. First of all, that's wicked, but now I definitely want pedals. All right, I need HOSAS plus pedals. But yeah. Scarecrow says, honestly, I'm all right with where it's at. There's a few frustrating bugs, but I'd almost say that it's more than most full games that are out now. And they're even, yeah, agreed. This game is, it's hardcore. I love it. Sorry. Well, let's see here. We got Darth Imperious. Welcome. There we go. So Jake's recommending Thrustmaster, VKB, and Verbal. I'm literally copy and pasting into my notes page. So I will definitely take a look at those because I'm excited to try it. I can see how the twist on the stick would be weird, just like might be problematic, especially if you're somebody who has repetitive stress injuries. But now they've got pedals instead of the twisting, that makes so much more sense. Simple like it, simple don't. Esper's in space. Hi, Esper. Nothing like exploring the verse. I run VKBs and haptic feedback, and it feels like I'm in my ship. Wait a minute. You can get sticks with haptic feedback? Really? Twisting a stick sounds like a brush burn. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So yeah, that's interesting. So VKB for the win, Lodarian says. All right, let me look up VKB real quick while we're sitting here. One other thing to note, and I love this about the ROG boards. There's always something uniquely decorative on them. This one has a Velcro patch that none of us have really figured out what it's used for, but it's there.
Yeah, I think the idea may be to like hold down the cable, but we would never run a cable over that, so you know.
Yeah, I was just like thinking, VKB.
Gamers.
True gamers don't care about cable management.
True. You know how much gaming I could do while you're doing all this, you know?
Yeah. You know? I mean, you can go play WoW.
I could be farming stuff in WoW right now.
Too bad WoW's not mobile.
Wow, don't need to be
The
mobile.
vest is haptic feedback.
No, because if WoW was mobile,
Oh,
it'd be wrong.
Yeah.
You're playing it all the time.
So the sticks are not haptic. It turns out that the vest that you can get with it is haptic feedback, and Easy Tune brings up a very good point. DJ's not allowed to use that vest. He likes to challenge asteroids and the ground a lot, and that he's not wrong. I would end up with bruises, but it'd be a great workout, just Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Is there a, let's see here, DJ, would snap and happen the best? You're right. Like every time that I crash face first into something, my latest thing has been really focusing on finding new and different ways of landing my ship without, bumping into the sides of stuff, which I'm doing pretty good with. The force feedback sticks are out there. I remember playing Mech Warrior 2 back in the day in a PC store that got me down the path of mechs and stuff. Mech Warrior 2 was awesome. That is something I have not heard of in a minute. Jason, I see you over there. You said hello. It's like, wait, I know that name. So, Master Builders, for your personal builds, what is your dream CPU GPU combo, and is it a black or white build?
Good question. So right now, no budget. I'm building a new PC.
No budget.
White MV5.
Okay.
Fantex D30 AIO. 14900 KF. White 4090.
That's
a whole bunch of
basically
D30
mine,
fans.
but just give me the height. A high
Yeah.
white 60.
Yeah. And I don't even care about the motherboard. It can be a green motherboard.
Green motherboard?
I'm just kidding. I don't even know if you
Green
can get one of
motherboard?
those.
I don't even think they make
Super micro motherboard.
super micro motherboard.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm running 11th gen right now for my processor, and I've got a 2080 Super in my build, so it's getting there. If I played cooler games, I'd probably need an upgrade, but I don't. I just play old games.
10th gen and 1080 Ti, I'm fine. If I can get my hands on like a white 3090 or something, or DJ's card, if DJ wants to send that card back to me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: if I ever get a chance to upgrade, I will. You can buy it from me, and I will. That'll help me with that upgrade.
Okay. No, you have to pay me back. Remember, I tested your PC for you. I made it look really, really nice.
That is true. That is true. Honey Badger says no, but my no budget, but my dream GPU is a white build with a white ROG Strix 4090. Yeah, we need to teach you to decoupled landing. You can just lightly downstrafe and watch your vector indicator. Oh, yes, actually, I would love to learn that. Sounds easier. Okay, so I'm over here on the VKB controller site, and there are some incredible options here. Like, just from, like, you've got right and left hands that are angled. You've got right and left hands that are straight up, which makes, like, there's so many different. Yeah, that Omni looks like it would feel easier to have because your hands wouldn't be like this. They'd be at an angle. But they're $175 a piece. So that might be something that's slowly acquired over time. Good grief. Thrustmaster has one that's, oh my gosh.
Just pull the trigger now, DJ. Just do it.
Put it on the
Thrustmaster
Amex.
Viper TQS mission pack. Have you guys ever seen this thing?
Nope.
Jeez. Yes, also fireworks. Can I put a link to this controller and ask people's opinion? Because this is pretty unique. So I found this, and this is Thrustmaster. It's a $500 controller. But the thing that's neat about this,
He's justifying it.
Yep.
is the well, no, because it's $500. But oops, there we go. The thing that's neat about this, it's got like a control panel with switches down below for landing gear, for shields, for power. Like, there's a lot of assignable buttons on here. Now, granted that, my ADHD is at an all-time high on that one, so yay. What, sort of TJ's spam link? No. Now to check this controller out, this actually is pretty interesting. I've never seen anything like this. And there's all sorts of, like, that looks like I would get so unbelievably confused. But it's got all the buttons, right? It's just, it looks cool. So Santa? Yeah, you don't have enough fingers for that many controls, right? I would think it would be easier to have, like, not have the base down below you, but on the other side. That's 100% no-go. Via the Air Force. Yes. Yes. Agreed. Wow, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things to think about. Thank you guys for all of the recommendations. Like, this is going to be fun. In the meantime, I'm keyboard and mousing it. I did try and play with the controller. That did not go well. Did not end up the way I wanted it to.
You didn't like it?
Well, I felt like I had less control. Less control over it. Well, everything's fitting in there. I do love the place that you put the secondary hard drive, which we didn't really get a chance to talk to. That thing that's on that's underneath his right fingers. That, of course, is our 4 terabyte, mind you. Okay, a 4 terabyte, 3.5-inch Western Digital Blue hard drive, which is awesome. That is plenty of space to pull up to put all your hardcore gaming on. Great stuff. I will say I'm very happy to have all my stuff on M.2s. It does work really, really fast. Okay. That door popped in and we'll have a nice little snap to it.
Yeah, and this door even has some like padding. It's like felt padding on the back of it so it doesn't mess up your panel, which I really like that they added that to it.
Oh, nice. Nice. Glad you finished that sentence. Yes, me too. All right, so on this now it's time to tackle that this beast of a card.
That was the fun part.
Okay, so I have a question. What are I need you, because we've never done this on the show before, so walk us through first how we're going to do this, and then what it is that we're doing for the very first time.
So Hayden's got this thing pretty much all done, ready to go. We just need to throw in our beast of a video card. Now, typically our video card would just slide into this slot like this. You've all seen it before.
But
that's how the video card goes in.
out all the slots.
So we are going to be vertically mounting this. So I'm going to get this, let's get this anti-sag bracket out. And I got it over here.
Does it come out from the front?
Oh,
yeah, it does. Because we need to make room for this big card.
Baron von Derg, yeah, these guys are absolute monsters when it comes to all things cable management. It's always amazing to me.
So with vertically mounting your GPU, there's a couple things you need. Obviously, you need a bracket that's going to match your case, that's compatible with your case. You know, typically it's going to come in the accessories box of your case, or it's an extra thing you can buy. And then you're also going to need a riser cable, which is what you see right here. And essentially what this does is it's a small extension to our top PCIe slot on our motherboard. So we're gonna go ahead and install this. I'm gonna try to keep this in a way that you all can see. Maybe if we go to the other one, let's do that. Hayden, can you get your hands in there with it like that?
Should be fine.
So essentially, you can see the bracket going in. It kind of installs like it would another video card. So first off, we're gonna get this bracket and I'm gonna rotate it just slightly.
First you gotta
so that we can see this. Yeah. First, step one, plug it in. So we've got our riser cable plugged into our top PCIe slot there, because that's the one we want to use, obviously. Then we're gonna screw down our bracket just like we would if we were installing the video card. And then our video card itself, you'll see when we get there, is gonna mount into the PCIe slot that we've got out at the end of the riser cable.
Okay, maybe
This is cool. I've never actually seen this before.
Yeah, vertically mounting just takes your system to a whole nother level. It just looks really good.
So is that because you're now adding a cable interface between the graphics card and the motherboard, will you see any change in performance?
So this cable is a short cable made for this, so we won't see a change in performance. Now on a measured scale, you might see a slight measurement, but you're never going to notice that in a game. If we had a really long riser cable, the longer the cable is, the more signal loss there is, and so you can see, you know, a little bit of loss from there. But if you're doing a vertically mount, you just need a short cable. So
It's awkward. Doing it from this angle.
yeah, I know. It's a little weird.
That's so interesting.
I got it.
Nice. And what this does, vertically mounting, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it before, is typically if you were looking inside your system, you know, this is what you would see on your video card, which looks nice. We've got some RGB here. I'll try to pull it a little bit further back,
This
Jason.
is what I have in my system. It's great.
But instead, we're going to be able to see our card just like this. So it's going to look pretty good. All right, that's all installed, Hayden.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, well, we're going to be a little bit more delicate with this part, but there you go. So now our PCIe slot is on the bottom. That's why you guys can't see it, and why we don't need an anti-slot or an anti-sag bracket is because gravity is obviously going to be helping us secure it into there, because it's just going to sit right down in there. And there we go. Now it's going to be a little heavy, so we're going to have to get something in there.
To take out that back fan
Yeah.
to put the screws in.
Oh, right. Okay.
You want to hold the GPU?
Yeah, let's do that.
That is going to be so flippin' cool.
So
I think what I love about this is the fact that we actually get to see the fans. The fans always have lights, you know, in them. And so instead of looking at that back plate, we've got that front plate. Now, how will this affect airflow in the system, Paul?
So our main intakes are right here and down here. So the intake is going to be about the same, but this is also going to be sucking air in this way and exhausting it out back. So the airflow is going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be, you know, flowing in all the same ways. It's just got a little bit different obstruction to go around.
Got it. Baron von Durk asked, do you ever have riser cables that you've got to say no to, or are they really all just the same?
So we were talking about this before the show when we were talking about doing this, since we haven't done it before on the show. Riser cables are not, typically they should all work, but we have seen them be very finicky if you're using like a different brand than the other stuff, like what matches your case. I don't know why that is, but we have seen them be pretty finicky. So
another good question coming in. Do we think that eGPUs will be the next phase? Small PCs that house just a processing cluster?
I could definitely see things like that existing. I mean, we've already kind of seen that with like Intel NUCs and stuff, right? Where it's like very small box. Now, obviously, you know, they weren't as powerful as a 4090, but I mean, the technology is going to get there. I think though, with PCs at least, you know, your PC is something like this is almost like it's like a statement in your gaming room. Like it looks cool. It's a cool thing to have. So, I mean, you're going to have people that want, you know, the small thing that's unnoticeable, but then you're also going to have a lot of people that, you know, want to show off their work and, you know, whatever they put together.
All right. This is what we're going to do.
Does vertically mounting it affect heat dissipation?
Let's do this. Maybe. Does what? Vertically mounting it affect heat dissipation?
Yes.
So, I mean, a little bit, but we're not going to see any, like, temperature drops or, you know, anything like that.
Let's take out
let's
pull that. We can push that clip.
So the GPU wouldn't, anti-sag that came with the case wouldn't work here, would it?
It might.
It might, but we've got something else I think we're going to do.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see here. The cards the size of the entire case? Yes. Envy, Baron also mentioned that 4080 or 4070 Ti is what they're looking for next, so you can swap down your cards. Yeah, so there's a lot of people wondering about that GPU cooling. That's going to be interesting to see how it performs and what it sees. Yeah, it's very much on display of like, hello, I'm here, pay attention.
Yep.
Like, it is a sexy card, and so what is the clearance from the front of the fans to the glass housing on that case? Interesting question.
I don't know. We've probably got at least, you know, 3 inches, something like that, maybe a little bit more from just eyeballing it.
Heedless mentions my NV7 build I ordered is supposed to be shipping today. That is awesome.
Very
Congratulations. Do make sure that you post a picture of your setup in our Discord, which is, of course, discord.gg/CLXgaming. We would love to see it. We've got some great pictures of people who've got their CLX PCs and shown us their setup. It's great stuff. Further back from the factory mount. Interesting. Okay. I'd like to build my next PC into my desk. Horizontal build with a glass top. We actually have one of those. That's actually what our production team produces this show on. Paul, tell them a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we put together, for Intel Extreme Rig 2018, we put together a custom open loop desk build. So we actually have 2 separate systems in there, and that's what's running this whole show right now. It looks really great. We have 2 different Intel builds in there. I believe we went with X299, which was the latest edge at the time, and I don't remember what the Z chipset was, but yeah, it's just a really awesome loop that we made a lot of custom modifications to, and our guys here built the open loop for it. So really great. If you want to go with desk build, I am all for it. The desk builds are sick. And like this is the one that we have, it's got buttons to control. You can raise it, you can lower it, you can.
Oh, that's
it's
amazing.
got like 3 save settings. So if you're at a if I had it set up, it'd obviously be a little bit higher. So I could just press a button. I could save that to memory and just press a button and it would go up to my height, which is pretty cool.
That is wild. Baron Von Durg asks, does CLX have a UK branch at all?
A UK branch? No, we do not. We are.
Oh, we do ship there.
There, that says not in back here.
Yeah, they are based in Wichita, Kansas.
Will you hold the GPU,
Yeah.
please?
Mm-hmm. Can see the
Getting
little
it
bit of
so
extra
close
love
to
this
done.
next. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this
So
seems-
Jason's actually going to show you guys a shot of our desk right now, so y'all can see.
Oh, cool,
that.
cool. Yeah, check this
You
out.
can get a little behind the scenes of the studio right here. So yeah, there's our desk. So it's glass top, and you can see all those lights in there. He's gonna raise it and lower it. See? I need that thing.
Okay, that's just genius.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is just genius. Love it.
Dang,
All right.
there you go, Hayden.
Jeez.
Your experience
Cast,
is
you're
showing.
also from Kansas.
Look at
That's
that.
awesome.
Dude, that looks great. And we don't need this extra piece. That's awesome.
No, yeah, it usually holds its
That
own weight. It's just getting it in is a
is-
little
Yeah,
tricky.
when it's that big, yeah. I
Bonkers.
thought for
Look
sure
at
we would
that.
need a support.
That is so cool. Yeah, that desk is beefy. It's definitely beefy. It's a great thing. Cass is also from Kansas, fellow Kansas native there. Yeah, I'm impressed with that desk. That desk is really cool. All right. We think we're at this point. Well, people, I would love to tell you about our website, but instead, you know what I want you to do? I think that Jason and our team here at CLX have something that we'd like to show you. So why don't you take a look at this? Oh my gosh, welcome back. How amazing. So let's talk about what that video was. In 2017, CIG at CitizenCon announced the release of the Saber. Well, we've got something amazingly fun to talk about. This is our Star Citizen. We want to give a huge shout out and thank you to everybody at Star Citizen and Intel for making this happen. But this is our Star Citizen themed PC. It's absolutely wild, so overpowered. It's gorgeous, and one of you people are going to be going home with this special, very special CLX CIG partnered project, and it looks absolutely, look at that, it looks incredible. Oh my gosh. So yes, we have our new giveaway. This is the giveaway for the month of December, and I can't think of a better way to go out with this year. And I think honestly the design on this rivals the Halloween one. This is just absolutely wicked. Look at that. So, by the way, the winner also is going to be getting the new Saber. You'll be getting the ship with the game for this machine. And I can't even imagine how all this is going to perform with that 14900 to 4080. My gosh. Let's once again, for those of you who are just joining us, go back over those specs real fast. Obviously, this is an NV5 special edition CIG Star Citizen build. It's got a Core i9 14900KF processor mounted on an Asus ROG Strix Z690F gaming Wi-Fi motherboard. 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 RAM, thanks to our friends over at AData. And of course, that's massive Asus ROG Strix GeForce RTX 4080 graphics card. The operating system is installed on a 2 terabyte AData Legend 700 Gold M.2, and it's got a 4 terabyte 3.5-inch Western Digital Blue in the back for even more storage. Our GPU is going to be cooled by a Fantex Glacier 1 360 RGB AIO, and of course 8 different D30 fans, thanks to folks at Fantex, 1,000-watt Fantex power supply, and this incredible lighting kit. This is just great. Everything about this is awesome. So I feel like everybody here is pretty happy about that. So you get no points for your birthday being on Christmas. Listen, my birthday's on Saturday and I don't get any points. So absolutely amazing. So here's how you're going to do it. From now going forward for the rest of the month on our streams and on my streams, you can type !give Saber, and you'll be able to get to the link, see what you need to do in order to get into this giveaway. There's also other options as well. We are going to be giving out codes starting with my stream, which is going to be happening in just a few, thank you, Pebbles, for their extra entries. Now you can find extra entries on our social media. That is TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads at CLX Gaming. You might be able to even find them inside of our Discord at discord.gg/CLX Gaming. And of course, you want to make sure you're following both of those. You can find them on our streams, which are focused on Kick on Tuesdays, Twitch on Thursdays. You can find them on my streams. And yeah, which is going to be great. I'm so jazzed about this. It looks freaking incredible. Oh my gosh.
This is great.
Still trying to see everything.
There's so
the
many
frosting is
details
just
on this.
incredible. Absolutely incredible. And oh yeah, and we're gonna update the colors so that we've got it all in blue, because that's can we light it blue? Yeah, they have to be done via software, and so since we just installed the hard drive, we haven't been able to get that in, but once that's in, we'll definitely show that off in blue. We're excited to let you guys see this. So with that being said, today we do not have a two-part show, so we're going to be taking a break in just a few, but make sure you're following us on all social platforms. The show happens every Tuesday and Thursday starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, that is 2 Eastern. On Twitch, it is CLX Gaming TV. On Kick, it is CLX Gaming, and of course on YouTube over at CLX Gaming as well. And as our way of saying thank you for everybody who is here, and thank you to all the folks at CIG and Intel for making this happen, we've got a final video to close out on. to give you an idea of how intense and amazing these events are for Star Citizen, check out this year's Star Citizen Con. On behalf of everybody in production, I'm DJ Blue PDX, Paul and Hayden. Thank you so much for watching, and check it out. This is Citizen Con this last year.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.